Nigeria's foreign trade bill stands at 23.2 trillion naira. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, increases credit for households to 300 billion naira. And the cost of doing business rises by 600% at Tinkan Port. GTEX 2020 NIDA unveils top 10 Nigerian tech startups at Global Forum. Details of these and more on Business Express reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Leah Katun Babatunde, your guide. The total value of Nigeria's merchandise trade from January to date is 23.2 trillion naira, while trade in the third quarter of 2020 stands at 8.37 trillion naira. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) stated this in its foreign trade in goods statistics for the third quarter of 2020. According to the report, the third quarter of 2020 figure represents an increase of 34.15% compared to the second quarter of 2020, but a decline of 8.85% compared to the corresponding quarter of 2019. Giving details, the NBS said that the import component was valued at 5.38 trillion naira, representing an increase of 33.77% in the third quarter of 2020 against the level recorded in the second quarter of 2020 and 38.02% compared to the third quarter of 2019. The value of imports in the third quarter of 2020 represented the highest level for any quarter since 2017. Now, the 12th National Council on Industry, Trade and Investment is facilitating the creation of more than 19 million jobs in priority sectors that include agriculture, transportation, construction, and the services by the year 2024. Benny Adams reports that it is a proposal by the Industrial Trading Fund (ITF) and part of deliberations at the meeting presided over by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Nasir Sani Gwarzo in Abuja.
Medium-term deliverables is to achieve a competitive industrial base triggered by demand toward the attainment of massive production and exportation of highly competitive products and services.
The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, in the process of pursuing its vision of promoting economic growth, creating jobs, and generating wealth, is vigorously implementing the 14 presidential priority projects as assigned by the present administration within the context of its mandate.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it has increased a targeted credit facility TCF, which is meant for households and small and medium enterprises affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, to 300 billion naira. The facility was 150 billion naira before the expansion, and the Apex Bank says it is to enable it to reach more households and small businesses. CBN's Governor Godwin Emefiele, while noting that the TCF funds were already being disbursed through the National Microfinance Bank, added that already 149.21 billion naira has been disbursed to 316,869 beneficiaries. The loan disbursement is based on the activity, cash flow and industry size of the beneficiaries. Let's now see how the naira is exchanging for other international currencies. The federal government is to develop a strategy towards boosting production and export of gum arabic as it seeks ways to address current revenue shortfalls. Musa Babalu reports that it is part of government's post-COVID-19 economic diversification strategy.
This is what gum arabic looks like, a secretion of the acacia tree known in northern Nigeria as gao. Gum arabic is in high demand globally due to its use in beverages, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and shoemaking. It is also used as a binder in stamps, envelopes, and cigarette wraps. The global demand of the produce is put at 90,000 to 100,000 metric tons per annum. Nigeria was the largest producer in Africa, producing more than 20,000 metric tons, but lost to Sudan as the production dropped to about 5,000 metric tons annually. With the gradual security stabilization in Northeast, the federal government has developed a program that will boost gum arabic production.
The major partners for Nigeria are Europe, Asia, Americas, and
This
other
meeting,
countries.
organized by the Federal Ministry
Over
of
the past 5
Agriculture,
years,
identified two strategies.
demand has
One is the massive planting of the trees for afforestation and degraded soil recovery program. The second is the collection, cleaning, and packaging of the gum for the international market.
Nigeria exports over 95% of its gum arabic in raw form to Europe, Asia, and United States of America. Only 5% is utilized locally. Not processing this commodity locally before export is causing Nigeria huge losses in form of revenue and employment opportunities.
And then it's also economical in planting it because it does not require a lot of water, so it doesn't need a much tendering before it grows and it starts fruiting.
The International Fund for Agricultural Development has set up a plan to plant more than 6 million gum arabic trees in 6 states in northwest and east regions of the country.
Now, what is in gum arabic and the place of Nigeria in the global market? Eze Chidume Okoro is the President, National Association of Gum Arabic Producers, Processors and Marketers. He joins me via telephone from Imo State, Mbise to be precise. Eze, you're welcome to Business Express this morning.
Thank you very much, Madam.
Great. So what is the global demand for gum arabic?
Currently, the global demand for gum arabic stands at about 100,000 metric tons every year and is rising by the year.
Okay, so when we say 100 metric tons, for the sake of our viewers now, what do you do? What is the place of gum arabic in the economy globally?
I said 100,000 metric tons is the global demand currently per annum, and Nigeria as a country used to be the second world largest producer after Sudan, producing on the average 20,000 metric tons of gum arabic every year.
So what is our current production capacity?
Our production has slumped to as low as 2,000 metric tons per annum. This is a commodity that Nigeria earns over $92 million every year. In the last decade, between 2004 and 2013, Nigeria was earning an average of $92 million every year. But since insecurity set in, Nigeria is now earning less than $3 million every year on this commodity, and is continually coming down by the year.
So what exactly has it been like for those of you in the business with all the issues affecting your productivity?
As you can see, most of our members, in the first place, this is a commodity that supports the livelihood of over 5 million people living in the Sahel region of Nigeria, that is northeast and the northwest. They depend almost on this commodity for their livelihood. Now that the production of gum arabic has come down from over 20,000 metric tons to just 2,000 metric tons, they have lost their source of livelihood. And beyond that, this is a product that protects the environment against desertification. Of course, we know that the speed of desertification in Nigeria is about 0.6 kilometers every year. That means Nigeria is losing its forests every year to the tune of 600 meters. That is 0.6 kilometers every year. So if we continue to keep quiet and do nothing in order to restore the glory of this product, by the next millennium, the entire northeast and northwest may have been lost to desertification. Apart from the fact that people that depend on this commodity for their livelihood would have lost their source of livelihood.
So how can this very important crop, how can it be plowed back like almost immediately?
Yes, we have presented as an association a strategic document, a document that defines how we can restore the glory of Nigeria in the production of this essential commodity which supports most multinationals, especially Coca-Cola soft drink producers. Of course, Coca-Cola Atlanta is the world's largest user of gum arabic. So we have produced a document which was submitted to the Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture last week that defines essentially the protocols, what we need to do in order to restore the glory of Nigeria in the production of this product. And essentially this document is saying that from now henceforth, from 2021, we must be planting a minimum of 4 million seedlings of gum arabic in the 15 states that produce gum arabic in the Sahel region of Nigeria. Borno State, Yobe, Bauchi State, Gombe, Katsina, Kano, mention it up to Sokoto and Kebbi. These represent the Sahel region of Nigeria, and they are the states that can produce gum arabic. If we stick to the documents, to the provisions of the document we sent to the Honorable Minister, I think in the next 10 years, Nigeria would have overtaken Sudan, and the glory of gum arabic would have been restored to our country.
Now the AFCFTA kicks off in less than 1 month actually. How is Nigeria going to cope in this very industry?
In the first place, I want to say I'm sorry to say that export trade in Nigeria is facing especially agricultural trade, is facing huge challenges every day. Right now, as I speak to you, several hundreds of containers of agricultural commodities, including this gum arabic, is stuck in Nigerian ports because of some regulatory requirements recently introduced by Central Bank that is militating not just our participation in African trade, but also our participation in global trade. How can you now keep agricultural commodities in the port for upward of 2 to 3 months because Central Bank now wants to be the clearing agent to authorize shipping lines to load the containers in the vessel? After customs has cleared the containers, after the inspection agent appointed by Central Bank has issued a clean report of findings, still you must go back to Central Bank to get clearance before your containers can be loaded.
Well, can I just come in here?
How can we do that?
Can I just come in here? You are making a statement that is mind-boggling. When you say that you would need to take some clearance again from the Apex Bank to export.
Yes, this is what is going on, and our containers, our members, all their containers, exporters of agricultural commodities, their containers are stuck in the port because now, beyond the regular clearances you need to get from customs, you need to get from the inspection agent and from all other agencies. After getting all those clearances, you now have to go again to Central Bank to get another clearance before they can load your
container in the vessel, and this is taking weeks and months, and agricultural commodities are perishing in the port. By the time they get to the overseas buyer, they will be rejected, and in trying to regulate, over-regulate the economy, you destroy the economy and you bring poverty onto the people.
Okay, so I think what we're going to do from this end is to have an interface with the various regulatory authorities to know exactly where and find out how these issues, of course, can be streamlined. But before I let you go, what are the destination markets and what is the place of gum arabic in local industries in Nigeria?
Actually, you know, gum arabic is a functional product. What I mean, it performs functions in other products as a carrier, as an emulsifier, as a stabilizer. So it cannot be used in its primary form. You have to process it, and before it can be used in local industries. And as I said earlier on, the biggest users of gum arabic in its process form include Coca-Cola, includes Cadbury because it's used in confectionaries, in sweets, in chewing gums. It is a stabilizer in ice cream. It is used almost in every commodity, I mean every confectionery. Also in pharmaceuticals it is used, but there is no company apart from Dangote that established one processing company back years ago, but that company is not functioning right now, and we are back to square one, exporting the unprocessed gum arabic.
I was going to ask you, I think let me just chip in this one before I finally let you go. I was going to ask you, what is the place of value addition and of course meeting up with quality and standards for those of you in this business in Nigeria?
Yes, processing, in the first place you have to ensure that you have production before you process. Right now, the production, what Nigeria is producing can't even support one industry. So we have to concentrate to produce this product first, because when one wants to process, he has to ensure that the raw material is there. The raw material now has dwindled to so much that it cannot even support one industry. So this is where we are now. We need to beef up production before we talk about processing. So value addition at this point is only at its primary stage of removing either semi-mechanically or manually the foreign materials and additives in the product.
Okay.
And once we do that, I think we upscale the value of the product. And once production is upscaled, we can now talk of major going into deep processing of the product.
I must sincerely thank you, Mr. Okoro, for joining us on Business Express this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. She's known as the Bamboo Lady after venturing into a world very unfamiliar for women. But this will not be the first time Zugwai Fanja will be doing so. The graduate of engineering who began her career path at the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron, was the best graduating student in her time. She shares her story on surviving COVID-19.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
My name is Zugwai Augustine Fanda. I'm a graduate of chemical engineering from the University of Aberdeen. So for over 4 years now, I do bamboo stuff. That is, I sell it for decking, scaffolding to the construction company, and I'm also into the furniture part of it.
She is an epitome of the true spirit of resilience Nigerians are known for. When a job didn't show up after graduation, Zugwai simply created one for herself and has gone on to become an employer of labor despite the economic downturn.
The last time I did my contract in Kaduna, most of the people that were with me were drug addicts. Most of them, I remember, till now I still talk to them. I serve like a mentor to them in a sense that you try to tell them you're more than this.
Calling for a mind reset towards addressing unemployment in the country, she tells me women can earn money even from the comfort of their homes and with adequate knowledge. The bamboo, a multi-purpose plant, can birth affordable aesthetics for the home and workplace.
To kind of eliminate or reduce poverty. Because if you look at it now, a woman can mat basket. You see, you can be at home, you don't have to go to site. As long as you can mat it and you have the resources, you mat them, sell them.
The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) puts Nigeria's unemployment rate is at the second quarter of 2020 at 27.1%, up from the 23.1% recorded in the third quarter of 2018. And COVID-19 has thrown the gates open for innovative persons to make a living despite the new normal. With more efforts like this, the unemployment gap will no doubt be significantly reduced.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
The National Information Technology Development Agency (NITDA) has unveiled 10 top Nigerian tech startups who have produced critical solutions to emerging technology. The Director General of NITDA, Kashifu Inua, said the agency has offered full sponsorships for the winners to attend the 40th edition of GTEx Technology at the World Trade Center DWTC Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Inua, who led Minister of Communication and Digital Economy Dr. Isa Pantami to inspect the pavilion of Nigerian startups at the ongoing GTEx conference, said Nigeria is fostering its participation at the Future Stars on promoting youth-led enterprises to showcase innovations coming from its tech startups community.
Ensure that we get more investors that are willing to invest in Nigeria, and secondly, to get technology transfer.
This is an opportunity for us to showcase our talented startups and also to learn from other countries what are they doing to prepare themselves for the post-COVID era.
Now, more youths have been taken off the streets after acquiring an entrepreneurial skill to be self-reliant. Boston Abel was at the graduation ceremony of the young entrepreneurs in Abuja. Now reports.
Although the coronavirus pandemic was a huge challenge that put a hold on lives and economy, but not to these young and vibrant youths who stride through the hurdles, having completed a one-year training by Conversation for Change Entrepreneurial Fellowship Program. Yoni Dubem Okonkwo is one of the 14 graduates of the 2019-2020 batch, who is into information technology, selling of laptops and accessories, and offer repair services. He has been empowered by Conversation for Change, a non-profit making organization supported by Seplat. Yoni was opportune to showcase his product and how his business operates.
With the pandemic, we're able to sell online as against what it used to be before now. So we want to say thank you very much, C4C, for giving us the opportunity to become better.
The knowledge they've given to me, I have learned how to do my business and to invest in, and to grow and expand.
It's an upcycling brand that we creatively use waste and discarded items to create beautiful furnishings and decorative products for interior space, be it residential or commercial.
I was just a normal street boy doing my thing without thinking of converting it into a profitable business.
I'm saying thank you to C4C for their assistance, for putting us through this vigorous training and bringing us to this point, for supporting our dreams and bringing our dreams to life.
This batch of entrepreneurs are the lucky few who scale through the tough selection and interview process to grow their businesses.
Our premise is we find talented, hardworking young people with good ideas who are seriously interested in doing business, not people who want to do business because it's a way of making money. And we invest in them, we train them, we build their capacity so that they actually have the skills to run a business.
And today we have weaknesses that have learned from it, they have benefited from it, and they can only be the better for it as well as the country.
And now the ball is set rolling for these participants as they begin to explore in their various endeavors. Boss Day Able, Business Express.
The Nigerian equities market started the week on a negative note as the NSE All-Share Index depreciated by 0.21% to 35,064.36 basis points. Its year-to-date returns currently stands at a plus 30.63%. And away from home, Asia-Pacific markets traded mixed on Tuesday as investors remain cautious over rising coronavirus cases, U.S. stimulus negotiations, as well as Brexit talks between the UK and the European Union.
Asia-Pacific markets traded mixed on Tuesday as investors remained cautious over rising coronavirus cases, U.S. stimulus negotiations, as well as Brexit talks between the UK and the European Union. Japan's Nikkei fell 0.3%, while Topix Index was down 0.16%. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng Index fell 0.66% in early trade. In the United States, stocks fell early Tuesday as traders kept an eye on negotiations and additional fiscal stimulus, while the U.S. coronavirus caseload continues to rise. Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures dipped 0.49%, the S&P 500 futures lost 0.19%, and Nasdaq 100 futures also fell 0.45%. European stocks are expected to open lower Tuesday as talks between the UK and EU continue to yield little progress, ostensibly, and time is running out to agree on a deal. London's FTSE is seen 19 points lower at 6,555. Germany's DAX and CAC 40 of France are still unchanged. Stocks in Africa are also expected to open lower as investors around the globe remain cautious over a second wave of coronavirus. Bosside Able, Business Express.
Thank you, Boss. The information just reaching us now says the federal government and the labor unions have agreed to a 5 naira reduction in petrol pump price. We'll bring you the details in subsequent programs and bulletins. And this is where we end this edition of Business Express. Keep the feedback coming. We also await your observations and suggestions. Be informed that our previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us on Twitter. The handle is NTA News Now. Business Express returns tomorrow at 3 p.m. Be safe out there. I'm Leah Katung. Baba Tunde.